Hello and welcome to the Gen X Dad and his Gen Z Teens podcast. This program takes a lighthearted look at generational differences about all sorts of topics. We explore everything from pop culture to history to relationships to politics, but only in a very shallow level. We don't aim to be controversial or to be the authoritative voice on any topic. We are not social scientists or scientists of any sort for that matter. We're just here to rap about things that we think are important and that we will have fun talking about. Also, it is my opportunity to publicly and on the record prove that I am right and my teens are wrong in all cases, and that the 80s and the 90s were absolutely the best time to grow up. Today's episode is growing up in an environment when everything basically can be seen in the public and you can go viral. So welcome everybody. We're going to talk about how I think, and I'm going to give this to the teens, I think it's tougher growing up today than it was when I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Basically because there was no such thing as going viral. I mean, you really had to do something incredible, whether good or incredible bad, to get on TV and then have that segment picked up and gone somewhere else. Now, with the devices that everybody carries around, anything can be filmed at any moment. Plus, what CCTV cameras, everything can be public. So there's just no leeway that I think that teens today have, and I think that's unfortunate and a bit terrifying as a parent. Now, it's not lost on me that the irony of doing a public broadcast with my teens. However, if you've become a regular listener, you know that we try and maintain a degree of privacy. I do think it is important to talk about some of these things. I think there's an audience out there for people who want to hear from teens themselves. And I think it's a good discussion point to have with your teens to talk about it. I know we have talked about it as a family about the dangers that are out there of being in the public at all times without choosing to be. And I think that is something worth discussing. So the bottom line, what scares me as a parent is nowadays things can be a one mistake world. I have emphasized to my teens that, the being careful when they're out in public, being careful with their friends. And I just think that's a level of responsibility that we're putting on kids now that to some degree is unfair, that we didn't have, certainly not when I was in the 80s and the 90s, did not have the danger of that going viral. I think about, later on as an adult where I had one or two instances that potentially could have gone viral in some level. And thank God they didn't, because it would have, I think, reflected poorly on me. And I think, I'm very lucky that technology wasn't there. Not that I did anything wrong or illegal or anything like that, but just something stupid and dumb. And I'm glad nobody had a camera on me. So with that, guys, do you feel pressure other than, obviously what I apply on you, but what is it like now? Do you think about the fact that everybody could put a camera on you and have something go viral at any moment?
To be honest, no, not really. I think it's just, it's been a thing for as long as we've been growing up, so it's not really like weird, I guess, or like something we really are thinking about. It's just kind of like, I don't know, I would say like normal, I guess. So, you just kind of just know automatically that, you should be, a little careful with what could potentially go out. Yeah.
For me, it kind of depends on like what type of group you hang out with, because some people just don't care and others will like always try to like force a camera on you. But that's just what it kind of like for me.
Okay. The thing is, though, that's what but at any moment, you could be messing around, horsing around, and somebody who you're not even aware of it could be filming you. Does that cross your mind?
Not really, because I mean, for the most part, no one or not a lot of people do that. But for anyone to care, you'd have to be doing something pretty bad. So as long as you're not doing anything like that, you don't really have anything to worry about.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad to hear there is a degree of awareness, because I think we were more innocent growing up, because none of that would have ever crossed our mind. There was no capability of that. But we've all seen viral things from teenagers, school fights. I mean, the first thing I think everybody does is break out their phones rather than try to break up the fight. And again, there's pros and cons about all of that, but it's very different from, again, what I grew up with in the 80s. As a parent, again, that's one of the things that I think about, is the one mistake that potentially you guys could do something silly. And you guys are not perfect children by any means, as much as you may think you are and as much as I would like you to be. And there have been mistakes. I mean, thank goodness nothing has come out of that. I think that's a testament, again, to your behavior, a testament to your friends. But I mean, we've had things that have been concerning. There's, I'm not going to go into details, but you were concerned once about a video that might have come out, about something some foolish people did. And then, the whole social media aspect of, it being out there for people to see. Now, I know there's legal things. I'm not a lawyer by any chance, but just once stuff is out there, it's out there. So did you learn anything from any of that, or has it made you more aware, or you just really don't think about it?
Honestly, I think the main thing is, and you mentioned kind of school fights, and I mean, yeah, that's what happened. Everyone gets the videos and whatnot, but the thing is usually those are like, everyone cares for like that day, and then by the next day, no one really cares anymore. So again, because there's so much going on the internet, it takes a lot for something to like truly like go viral. So it'd have to be like something like kind of truly crazy for it to be, kind of one of those things where like everyone's talking about it and whatnot. Otherwise, it's just whatever.
Okay. Well, let's turn it around. That's bad stuff that can happen. But now let's talk about fame, notoriety. All right. We've gone round and round about various degrees of social media and what you guys are allowed and not allowed to do, and that's a topic for another day. But that being said, there's a part of human nature that we all, want to be known. We don't want to be invisible. But what about fame and notoriety in a good way? How does that strike you? Like, do you sit there and want that? Do you actively work towards it? Do you know people who actively are working to become social media type people? Like, what's that environment like?
I mean, I feel like everyone to a degree wants to have some sort of popularity on social media. I mean, that's just kind of like a normal thing. And there's, people who try a lot harder than others, but I feel like for most people, it's not a huge deal for them. They just kind of post what they want to post because that's what they want to post, and they don't really care, about being like an influencer or nothing like that. So, yeah.
Okay, I mean, maybe one of the things that's different, because a lot of in the media or a lot of pop culture that say us as parents, the Gen X generation or even the older millennials, there's just this assumption that that's all you guys want to be is influencers. So with that, I guess, I call it the law of unintended consequences. do you guys, let's say all of a sudden, for whatever reason, and let's use it as a positive way, you become famous overnight. How do you think your life would change? Have you thought through like what fame entails?
I mean, it really depends like how famous, but to be honest, probably not that much. I mean, there would be probably a few extra people that, want to try to talk to or whatever, but I mean, other than that, I mean, but again, it kind of depends on like what kind of fame it is. There's a difference between, being like a movie star and having a couple thousand followers on Instagram. It's a kind of a difference in the level of fame. That kind of depends.
Okay. Well, here's where, again, a generational difference. And maybe, again, as I've said before in a previous, I've been breathing oxygen here a lot longer than you guys. And one of the things about fame that is disconcerting is it will bring out all manner of people, including, the proverbial, the weirdos and the freaks and things like that. And that's always a danger to it. And again, that's why we've talked a little bit about, making sure we, while putting ourselves in the public, which we're doing, keeping some degree of privacy out there. And so that's one of the things that is concerning about, call it, when the dog catches the car, we thought we wanted this thing, but is it really what we wanted? And so, that's the positive side. The negative side, you definitely, that's where you go into hiding. My God, have to change your name, all of that stuff that, again, literally we have to think about because of our devices now and the proliferation of Wi-Fi and 5G. That stuff can not go beyond, not your community, but you can be embarrassed or, by the whole world. And I think people who have been caught in that storm, I do not envy them that aspect. So with that, again, I really, in a lot of sense, don't envy you guys. I think there's a lot of higher pressure that's put on you, your behaviors, things that you can do. And then that's, again, we haven't even gotten to the relationship side where somebody can put something out about you, that would probably, be unfair because it would be one-sided. So anyway, thank you for indulging with me. Do you have any final thoughts on, again, living in a world where anything you can do at any minute can go global?
Yeah, I just think like there's a lot of kind of ways with it, where media can like kind of overblow sometimes the effects of some of these things and make it seem like a lot worse. I think at the end of the day, you just gotta kind of learn to have, a little bit of some thick skin and just kind of be able to ignore some things, and it's really not that much of an issue.
For me, it always kind of depends on what type of fame and what you did to get that fame. That kind of determines how you respond and react to it. Like if you do something good and it goes viral, then you can just keep on doing that, helping more people, keep on going viral for the same reasons. But if it's bad, that could cause a lot of problems with you and your social life, your relationships, and all that.
Okay. Well, that's it. We're going to leave it there. One more time, thank you for indulging with me. And that is all that we have for this episode. So again, please, if you enjoyed what we said, hit a like button, leave a nice comment, tell your friends, and that'll be it. So thank you, and we look forward to the next episode.